You've got it tuned to KEXP. We are listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle, 92.7 FM in the Bay Area at KEXP.org, streaming worldwide, and also on the KEXP mobile apps. I'm Cheryl Waters. I'm down here in the KEXP studio. So excited, I can hardly contain myself. It's Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are so
Thanks for having us here.
It's such a pleasure, and we're such huge fans. The Black Bolts has been on constant rotation for me. I've listened to it hundreds of times since it came out in April, and I cannot wait to hear these songs live. You ready, set?
Ready, set.
Go.
Prepared for the fall that finds me here. Sad extremes running through my head knocked my blues into the red. But here comes fire, ideal fire, feeding up light, blazing desire. Seems I was ill-prepared, but now I'm going to take it there. The man who ate the moon, 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 the man who ate the moon. Talk about a ridiculous story. The man who ate the moon, high tide and you can't ignore it. Goes in his crown, and he's reeling through the crowd, and he moves like there's no control, crushing till there's nothing but sand and snow. All the doctors and the lawyers and the preacher and the coroner, let 'em know that the drip's coming through and there ain't no more room in the ICU. I am horror, ayahuasca, ask all your brewers how I lost them. Past the river, past the mountain, past the closet, that's where I'll stay. God in his crown, and he's reeling through the crowd, and you know he moves like there's no control, crushing till there's nothing but sand and stone. The man who ate the moon, 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 the man who ate the moon. And he choked, of course, because he bit off more than he could chew. Such a dummy!
Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP.
But will I feel it when I drop? Restless hour
You're listening to KEXP, where the music matters. It's Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP, songs from the fabulous new album, The Black Bolt, out on Sub Pop Records.
How'd you get so low? Feel that bad buzz in your hair. And the letter that you wrote that day, figured that you left our love for dead. And I tried to fight, and I tried to hold on, and me thinking we were starting to get somewhere. But I was looking out the window, you were walking back home, picking needles off the pavement, now I know. God knows you're the worst thing I've ever loved. And you're bad news, but we still got to have our fun. Seeing you trying to find a message in a bottle, drink until your lips turn blue. I've seen you pushing every button, but you saved the self-destruct just for you. Moving through this loneliness with a smile and the tear on my face. You be hanging on your white cloud while I drown on a mouthful of rain. God knows you're the worst thing I've ever loved. And you're bad news, but I still want to give you my love. Shed a light on a light, brings you right out of time and out of town. Laid out, I hope that you're happy now. It's been long enough, and I know I'm feeling strong enough. And though it was the best of my life, I know it's alright that it's over, 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 over. God knows you're the worst thing I've ever loved. And you're bad news, but I still want to give you my love. Shed a light on a lot, brings you right out of time and out of town. Laid out, I hope that you're happy now. God knows you're the worst thing I've ever loved.
So awesome. It's Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP.
I was thinking about my time and space. I was thinking about the human race in the age of tenderness and rage. And me kicking through the end of day. From inside I heard a message cry, shining like mirrors in the sky. So get your head right and hold it high. You should look around now, maybe you know you got the touch because you're magnetic. Don't synthesizer. You've been down, but you're gonna get higher. Out of the skillet, doing loops in the fire. What they gonna do with the lightning rider? Magnetic bolts in the air. Killer energy flying everywhere. Hot flash goes straight through the fire. What they gonna do? I was thinking about my time and space. I was thinking about the human race in the age of tenderness and rage. And you keep it going extra page. From inside I heard a message cry, shining like mirrors in the sky. Get it together, kid, it's time to fly. So look around now, you know you got the touch, you know you're microphone. You know your magnetic dope synthesizer. You've been down, but you're gonna get higher. Out of the scale and doing loops in the fire. What they gonna do when the lightning rider? Magnetic boats in the air. Clear energy flying everywhere. Hot blast go straight through the fire. What they gonna do with the lightning rider? Magnetic dope synthesizer. You've been down, but you're gonna get higher. Hot blast go straight through the fire. What they gonna do with the lightning rider?
That is insane. It's Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP, songs from the new album, The Black Bolts, out on Sub Pop Records. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was incredible.
So thank you.
I'm a little beside myself being in a room with some of my favorite musicians of all time. And it is
you.
just so great always to see you do anything live. And this new record is just off the hook.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It must feel great. There's a lot of love in this room. You've known these people for a long time. There must be a lot of trust and comfort to be doing this with them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've known everyone a sum total of 78 years.
That's what I was going to say.
No.
Can you add it up? It'd probably be
Can add
close
it
to
up.
100.
It's Jaleel and Jahphet playing TV on the radio, and Wilder, who actually everyone in this room produced the record together. And Wilder I've known since 1993, and various friends and bands, and we'd never really worked together until this, and I'm so glad we did.
It's a family affair.
Absolutely.
Well, I understand that you initially started to conceive of your debut solo album around 2019 when TV on the radio was on a well-deserved break, and that you started putting together just some ideas, free thinking, a mix of words, illustration, little visual sketches, musical reference and ideas, and you described it as a mixtape of emotions that music could evoke, kind of a feeling map of sorts. And it seems like that's something, a kind of a way that you've been making music since you were a kid. Can you kind of talk about that process?
I think for this, I've never really had, when we started things with TV on the radio, or I never had a roadmap before, but I feel like, the band was on a break and I was sort of trying to hit a reset button as far as just life generally. But as far as making art and making music, you kind of get sick of yourself and you have to disorient yourself in a way. So I did start this sketchbook of just free thinking and free writing with the idea that these first thought, best thought, kind of heart to pen to paper things would end up working as just springboards lyrically or emotionally for the record. So it really is just and I guess, if you say since I've been a kid, I've drawn my entire life as a way to just sort of make sense of things, It's we're all floating around in a someone kicked a puzzle box and we're all grabbing pieces trying to make sense of it. So I think that's I just keep doing that and it keeps turning into things, but I'm so glad.
You have so many different art forms that you express yourself with, and you talk about drawing as a kid. I understand your parents, your dad was a doodler. I've read that they were very supportive of your artistic endeavors, you and your siblings. And I'm wondering how that ignited an early passion for you in making music and making art.
Well, I think with music, the craziest thing about my family is I was definitely the least musical member of my family. My dad played piano, my brother played piano, my sister played piano and sung. She sang opera, as she got older. And I was always the one who was just okay, you guys got that. I took drum lessons and my drum teacher quit after 2 lessons, and I was convinced it's because I was so bad that he joined the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. I looked back on that. But I just, I think as far as my own music making, listening to, the records out on Sub Pop, but listening to indie labels in the 90s, kind of was, you get that go-ahead of you don't have to be well-trained to make music. You don't have to even have a cogent thought to make music. You can just go for it. And I think kind of early mid-90s, I started messing around with the 4-track. And there was a little noise rock scene in Lower Manhattan. Jaleel saw me play some noise rock shows where everyone walked out, which was the purpose of the band. But just, being in an environment where people were making things and realizing, oh, I love music as a listener and sort of a spectator, and it's a fun thing for me to do, and it just turned into my job, thankfully. But yeah, it's all a part of the same thing. I just like making. I think everyone should be making, whether it's going somewhere or not.
You have a love of comics, I know. What do you love about that art form?
I love that you can kind of do anything with it. I love that you don't need a lot to do it. I mean, when I was doing it, it was just pencil, paper, ink, and a copying machine. And now it's even, I think, easier with, if you have a Wacom tablet and a scanner, you can make all of that stuff. But yeah, just the permutations of storytelling and possibility and mixing things up.
You mentioned that this solo album was both terrifying and exhilarating because you didn't have Jaleel and Kip and David to bounce things off of the way you do when you're making music and TV on the radio. How did you approach moving forward in a new way? I know that Wilder played a big role in that and bringing these songs to life.
I think that maybe just the first part, like you're saying, you're not a part of Voltron anymore. You're just like the wheel going down the hill, and you're like, okay, how am I gonna go back up the hill? But I think in terms of demos, it really took me back to when I was first making demos without any band sort of thing in mind, where I would just try to go in as thoroughly as possible, but definitely with the idea of finding someone to just kind of hand stuff off to and say, maybe not, actually initially it wasn't someone to hand stuff off to, but I was sort of just like, I'm gonna find someone who I can say, you do this, and then you do it, and then we're moving on to the next thing, and you do it. And then Wilder and I actually were working on a kids show soundtrack, this show called City Island that was on PBS, and just sending some love out to PBS and everyone who's ever worked there. But we just got in this pattern of, we're working for public broadcasting, which is kind of a cruel taskmaster, where it's just like, okay, you got to get this in, you got to keep everybody. So I had some demos, and I asked Wilder, I said, if you want to do anything with any of these, I would love to hear it. And most of the process was me handing all of this stuff off to Wilder that I've been sitting with forever. There was one song that we wrote together, but a lot of it was just one. He did a demo, I think it was for The Moon, maybe, and sent it to me while I was working in Oklahoma, and I essentially was just like, do whatever you want. This sounds so much, this exceeded my expectations, and I'm so happy we get to do this together.
You talked a minute ago about listening to Sub Pop music when you were younger, and I know that when you were looking for a home for the Black Bolts, that you were warmly embraced by Sub Pop. And it seems like it's been a great home for this record. Can you talk about how it felt to be on a label that obviously you were familiar with and loved bands on it?
Oh, absolutely. Just really, really, really influential to me as far as, finding Sub Pop in high school, and you have a small group of friends, the friends who introduce you to that stuff, and you're suddenly just like, oh, everything else is so whack. I mean, I know that we're nerds. I know that we got to keep this all, on the DL, but finding something that wasn't super polished, something that felt subversive, kind of went in line with the underground comics thing. But yeah, no, I couldn't. I feel like I could go on for hours about it, but really, like listening to Bleach and the Melvins and all of these bands who kind of opened a portal out of boring, restrictive, weird Pittsburgh, PA, for me. Not all of Pittsburgh, but just for me, provided an escape, and you get a sense of who you want to be around, what your ethics are. Punk ethics, I feel, still apply today. should apply today to many things. But yeah, so happy to be on Sub Pop, and definitely my 13-year-old self is high-fiving me and going, just lay on the ground, bro. Keep drawing these comics. It's going to be so cool. I know you feel weird now. It's going to be so cool.
That's awesome. Well, you're an accomplished visual artist, and you said that one of your favorite parts of putting records together is making cover art and videos and visuals for the shows. And I read somewhere you said if you weren't doing it for yourself, you'd just be doing it for other people.
Yeah.
And what's the satisfaction that you get from that, and how does it work together as part of what you're wanting to communicate and share?
Oh, I think I always have, something always pops up visually if I'm making music, but I just love the format of a music video, period. And I know people have less money for videos now, but I think that makes kind of you've got to be a bit more creative, and you can still bring something out that just, is a great expression of the music and can bring people into it in a different way. I remember we were on one of the first labels we were on. It was the first time I'd ever heard someone refer to a music video as promo. And it was so repulsive to me. I was like, promo? This is art. You're making a short film. I was like, oh no, it's a promotional video for the songs you're trying to get to people. But still, I think there's an art to it, and I think just calling it promo is really doing it a disservice.
Do you feel like you're so adept at so many art forms and it's been a part of your life since you were a kid? Do you have any kind of a daily practice?
I try to write every day a little bit, just kind of free write. I always feel I was talking to a friend about this. We were in Toronto, and two of my cartoonist friends. I said, are you drawing anymore? Are you making comics? I said, I'm always thinking about drawing. I feel very guilty. I feel guilty right now. I'm not drawing. But it's just something I did for such a long time. But I don't know. It's just there. I can't really get rid of it.
It's in your DNA.
It's for better, for worse. It's happening.
Well, thank you so much for bringing your family to the KEXP studios today. It is
Absolutely.
Such a pleasure. And this album, The Black Bolt's so phenomenal. Again, Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP. Thank you again, all of you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And a big thank you to our listeners and viewers. You make these sessions possible. KEXP is listener-powered. You can make a gift anytime at kexp.org and support this community and great live performances like this. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll let you know every time we launch a new video. Once again, a big thank you. Tunde Adebimpe live on KEXP.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.